Holy cow, Splitgate 2. What the heck happened here? Today, casual gamers, we are taking a look at Splitgate 2. This is a brief-lived arena-style shooter that has a lot of feels to an arcade-style, Halo-style, with a few twists that honestly should have worked. This is something where I'm not sure what went wrong. I don't even know. A lot of reports cite a lot of different reasons, a lot of different explanation. Reports can attribute it to some sort of lack of management or mismanagement or not a clear picture or not a clear agenda as far as what the company wanted to do with this title. I think that it's something that's really had a lot of unique things going for it, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like it could hold anybody. It had a 80% drop in player base in no time at all. And I think that they just had a major lack of understanding as to how to maintain the player base that they had. A few things that were interesting that came a note is that a lot of the players ended up not enjoying the Portal gameplay. And I'll be honest, I played this without having any of the noise that surrounded it. I played it for a few weeks. That was all before it got announced that it was going to be shut down, so that was kind of blindside, kind of out of nowhere in my perspective. I saw a free-to-play arena shooter that had some portals. It looked like it was really changing the script enough that I was interested, so I went in for it. Got in. It had some pretty straightforward gameplay. Didn't take much to get used to that. And each class, there were 3 different types of classes that had light, medium, heavy. Each of them had their own type of weapons and they had their own special abilities. It felt like there was enough that was in this game for it to be sustainable, for it to be something that could actually be played. I thought that the Portal mechanic was definitely a selling point. I don't know why people were not interested in that, especially because these Portal mechanics are as straightforward, but as interesting as they could have been. I think that, if anything, there was a lack of being able to portal, but the portaling is not something that should have been overlooked or ignored. I will be honest, if you take away the portals out of this game, you're not really doing anything unique. But the Portal combination, I mean, if this came out like 10 years ago, which is a crazy statement, I know, but if this came out in the hype era of Halo and Portal, I mean, this would have been groundbreaking. And it's actually shocking that no one's tried anything like this up to this point. I really do think that they had something on their hands, and for some reason they just weren't able to get the logistics of the whole thing figured out. They cited that they released it too early, that they felt that it wasn't at a good time. I'm not sure what other playtesting they should have done before this. It was a free-to-play game. It felt like they could have collected some good data while they were live, and it just was really confusing that they would pull the plug. The concerning part here comes that not only are they pulling the plug, but they're actually downsizing the company here. Downsizing when going unlive to a beta phase is not promising for any sort of long-term outlook. I think that we're in some serious trouble, some serious disarray. This may be the end of Splitgate 2 at all, right? And that's a funny thought to begin with, because this is the end of Splitgate 2, and do you or does anyone remember Splitgate 1? That was a huge thing that just kind of came and went. No one really talked about it. Splitgate 1 existed, and then it was gone, and then Splitgate 2 came out. It existed, and then it was gone, and now it's back in some odd form, but it's not really a well-designed or thought-out plan from a management perspective here. I'm not sure what the thought process is. I do know that I actually had a lot of fun playing in the hours that I did get at it. I mean, the gameplay was engaging, the loop was good. I guess I didn't get into too much depth where I was running into issues where I wasn't getting maps I wanted, or I wasn't being able to play game modes specifically. To me, it was not the sort of game where you really needed to be picky. It was pretty much a run and shoot, and then there was a loose objective around what you were doing. I don't know if any of the games really lasted long enough for it to be detrimental, to be a point of contention to not be able to choose your mode, but I am sure that disgruntled players or players that wanted to stick to a specific mode wanted to make sure that that was an option for themselves. And I get that. I'm sure, you know, when you sit down and you play a game, you definitely want to have some say over how you're going to play it. But this style of game, for me at least, is so broad that it doesn't really require a specific, you know, set way to play. I think that a rotation of any kind really does help keep the game fresh when you're out there. All right, so two of the things that I wanted to bring up here are the price of the game. People have a lot to say when it comes to the cost of a game's cosmetics or a game's pass, but if a game is free to play, it almost feels to me as a casual gamer that they reserve the right to do whatever that is. I don't think that we really should be concerned with how much they're charging for cosmetics, because one, that's not an essential part of the experience. If you're jumping in and you're just looking to get a good gameplay experience and have a little bit of fun, I don't see how that can really truly affect or impact a decision. And I understand that they should make those things accessible to the casual gamer, but that, to me at least, is just something that's so not a priority, when at the end of the day, we're just looking for some sort of good experience to have in the meantime. And on that note, a good experience does require some focus. It was not until I was in this game's lobby that I realized in the menu screens that they had a battle royale game mode. And I will say, an arena shooter with arcade characteristics with half-baked portals around a map seems like a interesting and odd style of game to create for a battle royale. I played the battle royale for a few rounds. It is something that requires, actually shockingly, immense coordination if you're going to be able to do anything. There's a respawn system where if you get knocked and someone in your team is alive, you'll come back with a certain amount of your gear. That makes it incredibly difficult to get squad wipes. Unless you are coordinating an attack and you know where everyone is, it makes it very difficult until the arena starts to close. Which, the arena closing was actually one of the coolest parts about the game. The arena, the way that they had their battle royale set up was that it was in different biomes you would travel through. You would port to different biomes. There was 4 of them, and then there was a middle section that you could go access as well. And as the game progressed, biomes would shut down, so you could have to run from one biome to the next. They were all connected with little through lines that allowed you to transition between one biome to the next. And so it created a sense of flooding everyone in and created a sense of that zone. I thought that most of the battle royale experiences that we have now, we just got that circular zone that closes down. And I'm sure we can expect that in more iterations as the time goes on. But this one was actually kind of cool how it was sectoring off different portions of the map, and so you could come at this from a few different angles. Now, other than the biomes, I mean, they looked cool, the idea was cool, but they didn't exactly have good cover or good transition points. It definitely was something where the idea of a battle royale was there, but the commitment of a battle royale was not there. And I will say, that is definitely something that attributed to a lower player count. It is hard when you can't corral your players into understanding what your game is about. I think that they needed to focus on a few things, and they really needed to dedicate themselves to establishing themselves in a strong footing with what they had decided to become. But the idea that they wanted to just kind of cast a net and be a part of everything definitely hurt themselves. and it shows. It's one of those things where we can't have nice things, and I'm not sure why, because somebody seems to always get in the way of stuff that seems so simple. It's like we could easily have an arena shooter with portal mechanics that could become an evolutionary step in the FPS gaming. I mean, we're literally combining Halo and Portal here. There's a rocket launcher that feels like it should not be allowed because it feels so much and looks so much like Halo, but that's okay. We're enjoying it all the same. I think all in all, Splitgate 2 had a lot going for it, and it still may have an opportunity to save itself, and it may have an opportunity to become something significant. I mean, the core mechanics are great. Everybody has a little jetpack, traversal is easy, fluid, the graphics look great, performance was awesome. I think that there is definitely a lot of pros that exist within this world, but there are many, well, I was going to say some, but actually there's many issues that they have to navigate around. But as I've been talking, had this gameplay, it is really fun, and it does look good, and it is satisfying, and it makes me want more. But it's hard to even want to go back to the game, knowing that they don't really have a clear vision of what they're making, knowing that it looks a little, well, sloppy and unfinished. And that's one of the problems, is that if you don't have a player base beyond core diehard players, that is not a fun experience for a casual gamer walking into a lobby. If I'm only playing against people that are dedicated to the core, then it really makes it difficult to enjoy. And all in all, I think that Splitgate 2 is one to keep your eye on. It stays free to play, it's easily accessible, it runs well, it doesn't take much, but they've got some quirks to figure out. And so we'll see how this evolves in the coming months to year and see what happens. The smaller team, I'm not so hopeful, but gameplay looked good, and if you feel ambitious enough to go give it a try, go for it, see what you can do. Thanks for tuning in, casual gamers. Until the next one, it's been real.